And just like that, we're back. Oh, here we go for some unaligned cards. Now, I think what I'm going to do is the unaligned and the mythics all in one. I do have like an hour and 10 minutes, and there's not a whole lot left to talk about. So I think I'm making pretty good time here. First one we have here is the Awestruck Tourists. Creeble card. Already amazing. Corners 1 to 3 is healing when you play a location card. So 1 healing, 1 healing, 1 healing. Corner 4, draw cards when you play a location card. I mean, I'll give it a 2.5. I'm not saying, like, Edda's fun. I love Edda. Edda was one of the first Mountain Heroes I played. I'll give it a 2.5. The reason I give it a 2.5 is because the healing is minimal to almost negligible, right? The fact that it's only good is because it's card draw in the last corner, and it's Creeble. It only works for locations, and as we've been seeing, yes, locations are now being more spread out through all of the alignments. We've been seeing locations everywhere, right? That's not the thing. Locations work for everything, so this goes with almost everything. And it's a Creeble card. Good for that. The fact is that it's like, okay, you can lay your buff, and then, like, after you do all this stuff, you really want to get to the card draw. You really want to get to Jovi. No, not every location card is buffed. There's some defense and there are some attacks too. But like, you really want to get to the card draw. So you want to lay your location after location after location. So you're really going to want to put it in a location heavy deck, like Edda. But the thing is, like, if you blow your hand on, like, dumping it all out, play location after location, the healing is negligible. They might as well just be clunky corners with no number. They might as well just say the fourth corner is draw 3 cards. That's it. But then, like, after you do that, your opponent can just remove it before you get the card draw, and now you've just played 3 cards, and now you have to wait a few turns to do it. This card is good with a 2.5 rating. It's good because if you dump your whole hand consistently and you, like, lay 1 location, then... No, you'd have to lay 2 locations, then next turn lay 2 more, because you have to lay a 4th location for corner 4 to work. It requires a lot of locations to draw cards. So your deck better be very location heavy, which means the deck is very limited on what it can do to include this card in it. Card draw is really good in mid to early game, or early to mid game. Late game, not as much. Late game, not as much, but early to mid game, it requires a lot. And if you're going to make sure that you have 4 location cards before you've drawn 10 cards in your deck, and this card, that's a lot to offer in a very restricted deck to put this card in. So I would say, yeah, Jovi, 1.5, 0.5 for card draw. I mean, just play Barkeep on turn 1. You could. That's a much better draw 2 cards for 2 healing as well. I think Awestruck Tourists, I'd give it a 2. I'd give it a 2-star rating. I am going to love it in Edda. And if you play this tempo-wise, if you play it really early down the game, you play this, you lay 1 location. Next turn, lay 1 location, lay, like, pass, draw card. Like, if you just lay 1 location a turn with Edda, you're eventually going to have a really strong board of locations. Your hand side isn't going to be dwindled where if they remove your buffs, it's going to be that bad. And at the same time, like, you can still lay a location card, like the 4th one, draw 3 cards, and then use Edda to toss a Rickety Mine at their face like Edda always does. Where Awestruck Tourists, to play it properly, you're not going to go all out. You're not going to lay 2 locations, then 2 locations. You're going to lay a location, pass, draw, location, pass, draw. So your hand isn't dwindled, but you're still laying the locations to get the card draw out of it. You're going to kind of, like, trickle your way into the 3-card draw. In which case, like, because it's not a big rush into it, that's fine. Also, there's much better location card draw. There's a card draw that just says draw a card for each location you have, then deal, like, you know, discard a card or something like that. It's an amazing card draw 4 locations. Which means that Awestruck Tourist has to compete with that. Which means that, mind you, that's for Mountain. That's for Mountain. So this would go into an outside of Mountain location deck. And outside of Mountain, there is not as many location cards. So it's just it's a 2-star card. It's a 2-star card, maybe even a 1.5. Maybe even a 1.5. I'd have to see. For all I know, this card would replace that location one, so you don't have to discard a card as well. But I built a pretty fine ETA deck that utilized the Colossi Gateway to bring back elementals, and I just discarded an elemental and drew locations and whatnot. So, I mean, I worked fine with the downside. But, yeah, with Awestruck Tourist, it's just like, it's cool art. I love the art. Don't get me wrong. This art is amazing. The card, it's so restricted on how to get it going and how to get it working that it doesn't feel good. I don't know. I want to stick to my guns and say 2, but like in the back of my mind, I'm like, Jovi's right. It's a 1.5. I was probably being too generous with it, just talking it up. It's probably more of a 1.5. You're right, Jovi. It's a 1.5. Hired Saboteur. Creeble Unaligned card. Awesome already. At the end of your turn, deal damage to your target. So at the end of your turn, not the beginning. Remove any buffs that reduce damage this turn. This is a 4-star card. This card is amazing. This is a card that's like, oh man, I'm going to build up like a really big wall. I'm going to prevent all the damage that's coming through. And it's like, cool, 5 damage. That's at least going to hit 2 walls. Bulwark or Stalwart Bulwark is coming out, which is the only 7 one. Hired Saboteur is going to blow through a bunch of them. Hired Saboteur is going to blow through a bunch of them. It's going to blow through 2 Mountain Forts. It's going to blow through Bubblefish and more. It's going to just destroy everything. Bulwark Carrier. Thank you, Final Boss Battle. God, I'm really bad with card names. If I had the list in front of me, I could tell you them by that. But offhand, I cannot say the card name to save my life. But yeah, Hired Saboteur is going to be one of those, it's like, you're playing against a turtle deck? Cool. It's a Creeble card. I'll search for a Creeble card. It's an Unaligned card. There's ways to search for Unaligned cards. I'll put the Hired Saboteur out. Goodbye, Walls. Goodbye, Mari Stormguard, that everyone's like, oh my god, this is such a good card. It's gone. It's gone. It's buff removal, but specific buff removal. But because the buff removal was like, if anything, that prevented the damage, this thing could potentially remove like 2 or 3 buffs in once. At the end of your turn, they just go away. That's really good. That's really good. This is a 4-star card, and this is going to really prevent people from turtling. It's going to prevent people from turtling with Hired Saboteur. And the reason I love it more is because it's not like on the rotation phase it does it. So like this is not the, oh, I deal 5 damage, your wall's gone, now I have 2 actions to just kill you. It's at the end of your turn, it's really well balanced, really well written, where at the end of my turn, then I kill your walls. Now you have 1 more turn to like maybe heal, defend before I get my turn with no walls. That's where it goes in. Otherwise, this would be the ultimate OTK. This would be a 5-star card if it killed him before you took your action phases. Because that's just, there's nothing your opponent can do. So a 4-star card. Love Hired Saboteur. Cage of Oppression. This cannot be removed or restarted at the end of your turn. Deal 1 damage to your target. This bypasses damage-reducing effects and cannot be increased or trigger other effects. Rotate this 1 step forward if you heal for 2 or more. Clear walls, dump 12 damage. Bust. Yeah, exactly. That's how it would be. That's exactly how it would be. Which is why that one fire element or fire buff that bypasses damage reduction. That one was a 5-star card because that one is literally like, hey, I lay this. You have no walls. I have 2 actions. You're dead. Like your walls didn't matter. That's why that one is busted. Cage of Oppression. I love this thing. I love this thing so much. I'm giving this a 4-star. I'm giving this a 4-star. It only rotates when you heal. So if you get this early on in the game, you have put your opponent on a clock. They cannot turtle in front of it. They have to try and out-heal it, and just every turn they take 1. Every turn they take 1. It doesn't have unique. You can put 3 of them out there. You can put 3 of them out there, having the 3 damage, bypassing all damage, and all you got to do is just not heal. Just not heal, and then you're good. You can heal twice and still be fine. So make those big heals count. Cage of Oppression is an incredibly strong card A lot of people are looking at this and going, this card is insane. This is nuts. This is going to win me so many games. This is going to be the tempo thing that I need. Cage of Repression is going to be, like, when you include it, you're including, like, 3 in your deck at all times. It's an Insect Swarm on crack. It's so good. This is a 4-star card. It might even be a 4.5. But you're going to see this everywhere. And the fact that it doesn't have burn means you can bring it back. It just, like, hopefully good against stall. Yeah, I mean, this is so good. This is so good. Because they can't turtle. They have to heal out of it. And you just sit there dealing 1 damage. Just 1 damage. They can't remove it. They can't restart it. If all your opponent is doing is healing and turtling, they can do nothing to stop this. You get 3 of them out. Because stall decks don't deal damage. Stall decks utilize the buff removal for controlling the board, the turtling and healing. They don't deal damage because there's no point. They win by deck out, not by killing you. So if you're not taking damage, there's no point for you to heal. Cage of Oppression, 3 of those out. Every turn they take 3 damage. That bypasses all damage reduction. They got to heal or do nothing. Like, they can't even remove them. They have to make them dormant with Mari Bards. In which case, you save your buff removal for Mari Bard. You just kill them with Cage of Oppression. Like, it's a check and balance thing. Cage of Oppression is so good. It is going to be the downfall of stall, and I am going to love this card so much. So much. Epic Banquet. Move 3 Creeper cards from your discard pile to your deck. Draw 1 card with burn. I think we already know what this card is getting a 5-star rating. With how many cards we've talked about today and Saturday with Creeper cards being discarded, being utilized, being stored, and then removed, being able to move 3 Creeper cards back from your discard pile to your deck with just 1 action card is good. Okay? Necro Dreadling is insane because it removes 3 of any action card back to your deck and heals you. Yes, this is specific to Creeble, but it's unaligned. You don't have to splash Shadow in to get it. This is going to utilize so much of the storing Creeble, discarding Creeble, playing Creeble, all those fun Creeble things that we're getting, and then being able to cycle potentially 9 of them back if you run 3 of them, which you probably will be running 3 of them, and then draw a card. Like, this is so good. This is such a good card. This will be slotted just like Barkeep was. This will be slotted less than Barkeep because Barkeep was just draw cards. This you're only running if you run Creebles. Final Ross Battle. If you're not running Creebles, you're not running Epic Banquet. But yeah, I mean, this will be slotted just like, oh man, I need like 2 more slots. Well, am I running Creebles? Yeah. All right, let's put some Epic Banquets in there. Cool. Get some Creebles back, draw a card. Feels good. Feels good. This card is good. This card is ridiculously good. Oh, Cage of Oppression thing. Yeah. Yeah, Cage of Oppression. You'll slot that thing in there like Barkeep. Yeah, you will. That Epic Banquet's a 5-star card. All of these unaligned cards, outside of the Awestruck Tourists, all 4 or 5-star cards. Unaligned, guys. Take a look at the unaligned cards. They're good. They're really good. Destined Power. We're finally onto the mythics. Or the cross-order stuff. Destined Power. Unaligned combos, please. Oh my god, that would be nuts. I don't even know how you would do that. Destined Power. 5 damage to your target. Already pretty good. Move any number of combo cards from your hand to your deck. Draw cards face up equal to the number of combos removed plus 3. You move any combo buffs drawn into play. Yeah. It's a 5-star card. This card is, you're going to build a deck around this card, specifically around this card, and this card is going to be played to kill you in the 1 turn. You're going to play this by moving the combos back, probably like all 4 of your other combos that are all combo buffs, back to your deck late game after you've drawn your whole deck with tech or with astral drawing. Then all you have in your deck is like 1 card or maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3. Then you 5 damage your target. Move 5 or 4 other combo buffs back into play, then draw 8. So potentially, the best way to do this is your deck is empty, right? You draw cards, you cycle your deck out, you do everything you can until your deck is empty. Then Destined Power, you lay with the 3 cards you pay for payment, and you shuffle 4 combo buffs into play. Or 4 combo buffs, the other combos that you have back in your deck. You draw 8 cards now. because you do the 3 for the combo payment plus the 1 for each combo buff. Then you move the combo buffs drawn into play. So you move all 4 of your combo buffs into play. By that time, if your opponent doesn't know you were playing Destined Power, they probably removed a few buffs because you were maintaining tempo on board. You were doing a bunch of other things on board to bait out their buff removal. Now, you just dealt 5 damage to them and put 4 combo buffs into play. Like, what are they going to do? That's legitimately where you're like, okay, I better save Terraform to kill them all, or I'm done. Like, Destined Power is ridiculous. You're going to find combo buffs to just put into play for free that'll blow your opponent up, and they won't know what to do. I don't know which ones yet. We'd have to determine which ones are the best 4 or 3 even to put in. But it's just like, imagine this with Sparkback. Imagine it with anything. Anything. This is so good. I don't even know how to explain how good this is. Like, people are not going to build this without an OTK setup in mind. Even if it's just putting 2 combo buffs into play that are specific to good. You just put, I mean, for crying out loud, you could probably just run Astral and Storm in a Clock Smasher Crud deck, and then draw, and you put in Steel Fortification, you put in the armor and the nuke. That's all you need. You dealt 5 damage to them, your buffs can't be removed, or at least your mechanical ones outside of Steel Fortification, and you just crud your nuke and everything else away. Like, this is going to go really well in tech with how well we've seen the tech combos synergize really well, but Storm has some insane combo buffs to put into play. So does Astral. Like, you almost have to OTK with this thing. You have to play this card in a way where you OTK with it. I'm sure someone's going to find a really nice, like, tempo style where when your deck is low, you can Destined Power and maybe just move like 1 or 2 combo buffs into play for free. But the way to use this card is to put as many combo buffs into play as possible and just ruin your opponent. Just ruin them. And because of that, you're going to play the game where it's like tempo normal. You're going to build this in a tempo deck where it's like, yeah, your entire board is threatening. You're going to be buff removaling at all times. And Destined Power is going to almost be like your plan B win condition is the best way I've seen it. Plan A is too much thought, and your opponent's going to see it, and they're going to not remove stuff that's not key until they can remove their combo buffs, right? Like, that's how they're going to do it. Plan B means that you still run a very sufficient deck. Still run your action cards that threaten your opponent, that try and kill them, and maybe they don't. Maybe they don't kill them, and that's fine. Maybe they're playing the turtle to stall the OTK themselves, in which case your tempo is dealing damage, is drawing you cards, is getting you through your deck faster. So that by the time they controlled you and they thought, oh, okay, finally, my OTK is better, we're going to have this go off, it's going to be great. You Destined Power, and they go, oh my god, what is happening? Like, I thought I was at a threat, now I'm just dead. And I think that's, in my opinion, how Destined Power is going to be the best used, is the plan B. Where plan A is just a nice tempo deck, just kill them with your action cards, don't worry about the combos, whatever you got to do, don't worry about it. Have your deck run sufficiently where they have to feel threatened to remove your buffs, do defending, do all they need to do. And now at the very end, they're like, okay, finally, I survived his threat, I survived, like, I can do my OTK, I can do whatever I was planning on doing after I survived and won. Then you Destined Power, and they go, you've got to be kidding me. How is your plan B stronger than your plan A? And it's like, because my plan A was to bait you into my plan B. Like, that's my view of how this card is. And because of it, that is an instant victory when your opponent thought they finally stabilized. Is you just toss this out there and you're like, no, you're dead. You were dead from the beginning, you just didn't even know it. And Destined Power, with that, gets a 5-star rating. Destined Power is nuts. Restoring the Echoes, our second Tri-Order combo. It has burn, but at the end of your turn, move your last discarded buffs into play. Yeah. This is probably a 4-star. It's not a 5-star because it's not a game ender, it's nothing. It's a 4-star because it's at the end of your turn, which means you lay this, then you immediately get the first corner effect. At the end of your turn, you move certain buffs into play. Maybe it's ones that just expired that turn or what have you and whatnot. And then the next turn, your buffs can expire, they can do whatever they want, and then the ones that expired maybe, then they come back into play. However, because this does not have such an immediate OTK impact as Destined Power did, this is just kind of put into a nice deck. First corner, you want to dig your anti-buff removals. I mean, yeah. It does have burn, so you can easily remove this. Oh, okay. Yeah, you dig like your soul stuff. Yeah, maybe that's what you do. That could be really. Actually, I never thought about that. You put that the chained soul or whatever. Have that be the first one to return. Put next to Restoring the Echoes, and then this can't be removed. That's not bad. That's not a bad thought. I mean, yeah, it has potential for OTK. It definitely does, because you can bring your combo buffs back. If you only run specific buffs, yeah. If you only run specific buffs, all you run is your combo buffs. You lay your combo buffs, let them do their thing, and then at the end of the game, restore the Echoes with Anchor Soul and then combo buff, and then 2 more combo buffs, and then 1 more combo buff. Yeah, Restoring the Echoes could be really fun. Could be really fun. Mind you, that deck is not going to be very buff heavy. So your opponent might save their buff removal for the combo buffs to come back, and then Restoring the Echoes is just kind of trying to bring back buffs that are dead. Yeah, I mean, it could. It very well could. Yeah, we'll have to see. Restoring the Echoes. Now that you mentioned that you could pull back the Anchor Soul with this to keep it alive, I'll go to 4.5. It's still not. I still wouldn't put it up there with a 5-star rating, just because of how easily it is to control. Your opponent could, easily, with the Forest card, maneuver your buffs around, and then remove this one after Anchored Soul's on the other side, and then it's burned. You can't get it back, and you're done. Like, you got 2 buffs back. Kudos. There's a lot of ways to play around this, whereas Destined Power, literally, I just described why Destined Power is so good, because you put it in a deck where your opponent feels threatened the entire time, and then Destined Power just kills them. This one, yeah, you can threaten your opponent the entire time, but if you're trying to get the best value out of it, like your combo buffs or whatever, you really have to build a specific style of deck around it, where you're getting certain buffs back. You really want to make sure this buff does not get removed. You bait out a lot of buff removal, and you have to manipulate your graveyard to do things with buffs. It's just like, it's a lot that you cannot keep control over a lot of the time. And it could just bring in some action buffs that, like, you just didn't care about. You laid your good buffs early, and this one doesn't bring back your buffs that you want. But, I mean, there's potential. There's a lot of potential here, but it's not as consistent as I want to say as Destined Power will be. It's not as consistent as Destined Power will be. This one I see literally just being like, you play maybe even mid-game with Restoring the Echoes. You don't care about the Mountain Nature combo. You can't remove buffs. Is that what that one does? I'm gonna skip down. I didn't think that was what that one does. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh yeah, your other buffs can't be removed. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. I'm more convinced. I am more convinced. But yeah, it literally depends on what other buffs are in your deck. What other buffs are in your deck? For all we know, this is a more OTK style, where if that's one of your combo buffs that you bring back first, you bring that one back, and then like all your others are just combo buffs that you bring back to kill them, now that they can't be removed for 2 turns, then yeah, that's really good setup potential. But it's Destined Power puts them all into play at once. This one puts them into play over the course of 3 turns. So it's not as fast, but if played well, you don't have to wait till your deck is empty. You can just wait until you have the certain combos in your discard pile to do it. So you could pull it off sooner. Yeah, I'll say 4.5. 4.5. Not as consistent as powerful as Destined Power. But put in the right deck, Restoring the Echoes, yeah, could be an OTK. Could be something that just blows you up. Mind you, with those three colors, I'd have to see what you could do with it. I would really have to see what you could do with those 3 colors. But yeah, I'm seeing more of like a mid-range. You play this Mid game, just really hope you get good consistent buffs back to refill your board. Kind of like when you would play the Raising Souls or whatever for Dread. You just play it, get 4 good buffs back, and call it a day. This one you just play just to bring like 5 buffs back that your opponent has to kind of handle, and then you overwhelm them with the 5 buffs. But you could play it with an OTK. There's a lot of versatility to this one as opposed to Destined Power. But because Destined Power is literally like, you're going to win when you lay Destined Power, as opposed to Restoring the Echoes, you don't always just win when you lay Restoring the Echoes. You build up good potential, but I'd say 4, 4.5. Not quite a 5. Not quite a 5. But good. Yeah. I mean, so let's just skip down here and quick see. You could bring Sulfuric Demise back. You could bring Winds of Plague, Spirit Barrage, and Rocky Regeneration. Oh, or Ghost Warp. No, because it's not tech. It's red. It's red, blue. So yeah, not even Winds of Plague. You could bring Spirit Barrage, Sulfuric Demise, and Rocky Regeneration. Like, those are the 3 hybrid combos you could bring back. We'd have to go and see what other just like main combos you could bring back with them. But yeah, those ones are not gonna win you games. 2 damage every turn, 2 damage, and then healing. Like those hybrid combos to bring back are not gonna be what kills you the game. You're gonna want to look for specific combo buffs to bring back with Restoring the Echoes that are for the alignment that your hero's probably maining. So we will have to see. I'm gonna give this like a 4.5. It's going to be fun. It's going to be used probably a lot more dynamically than Destined Power will be. But when you lay this, it does not just win you the game like Destined Power does. So I'd say 4.5. In comparison to the two, we got a 5 and a 4.5. Death Hunter Adriak. Double superiority in animal and death with shadow. Probably one of the freaking best ones in the game. When one of your animal buffs expires, store 1 death card from your discard pile under this card, up to a maximum of 3. Ability damage your target equal to the number of stored cards. This is a 5-star hero. This is so good. Mind you, the animal buffs you really don't want to expire, which feels really weird because animals, like, you want to just keep them out and doing its own thing. But then you store the death cards, and the death cards are kind of like, yeah, the heal damage dealing. Maybe there's some undead death cards or whatever you want to do with them. Maybe they're just card draw. I don't know what you do with death. But then, like, how I visualize this and how I see this is early game, his ability doesn't matter. Your deck should be just doing its own thing. It's like running animal cards, playing death cards, shadows there for support, graveyard recursion, buff removal, whatever you want to do with shadows. Maybe even like a tentacle or 2 late in the game. And you play those late after buff removal's gone. Then, after your deck has kind of run its course, after it's lost a little bit of steam, it goes into phase 2 of the deck mode. Phase 2 is every turn you hit that ability button for 3 damage. Every turn you now have 3 damage because you have 3 cards under him. It's not conditional. It's not, hey, like how Captain Blacktail is. It's not, oh, if you don't have an attack on the top of your discard pile, I get to deal 3 damage. It's not that. Phase 2 of his deck, after it's a consistent damage that you should have him down pretty low, like if he's healing or whatnot. Phase 2 is just, okay, now my hero is just infinite 3 damage too. Now you're on a clock. You got to deal with it. You got to kill me. You got to heal. You got to do whatever you got to do. Phase 2 is I have that. Phase 2 also includes tentacles, because he's shadow. So you slam a tentacle down and you just ability for 5, ability for 5, ability for 5. Every turn you're dealing 5 damage, and there's nothing your opponent can do about it because you can't stop a hero ability because it's just an ability. It's not an attack, not a defend. They got to heal, they got to defend against it, they got to do something because you're just going to keep hitting that ability button for 3 damage. Yes, it can, actually, and his ability can be increased because it doesn't say it can't be. So yeah, Death Hunter Adriak is a 5-star hero. 5-star hero. Because it's going to run just a very tempo-oriented, maybe even aggressive-style deck. Superior in animal and in death means that you're getting a lot of those animal buffs out there. A lot of just, Core of Conspiracy. You're getting the Mossfoot, the X5 one, just really quick expiring animal buffs. The Scale Fang, or the Vicious Scale Fang, 2x4. Just really quick expiring animal buffs. And then you're laying your death cards. You're laying your Soul Thief. You're doing your all bunch of death things to do. And you're getting those just stored on. You just need 3 of them. You just need 3 of them. There's a lot of really good death cards out there that are just action cards for defend or attack. That just like 4 healing, 2 damage. We're getting some 4 healing ones. We're getting a bunch of other things. And then as soon as those are stored, as soon as I'm restored, then you can just, ability 3 damage, draw a card. Or lay a buff, deal 3 damage. Just have a really consistent clock damaging turn. And that's all you got to do. And then your opponent's just slowly overwhelmed. And you can't do it. The only downside is there's not a whole lot of healing in death that we have right now. Like max is 4. But that's fine. You're a very tempo-based thing. You can still run Wall of Bones and get the benefit from a shadow buff as well. You can scavenging or the Carabid Scavenger and lay a defend card, get a 5 heal off that as well. Yeah, dual superiority is amazing. It's amazing as it is. But that's true. Yeah, just kind of how Asavak was. But yeah, Death Hunter Adriak, like, I've already got a deck in mind for him that I'm going to build as soon as I pull him from a pack or open him or whatnot, just to get my hands on him. That Death Hunter Adriak, just keep that in mind. That's the way I would play him because I'm very much a tempo player. I like to be very consistent on my turns, never have a dead turn. I don't want to just rush my opponent and realize, okay, I didn't kill him. Now I have like 3 dead turns where I got to build my hand up. I don't like playing that style. That's not my style. I'm very tempo oriented. I'm very like make sure every turn feels like a good turn. Make sure every turn my opponent feels threatened by me. And this is the perfect hero for me to do that. I love this guy and I love his art. It's Illidan. I love Death Hunters. So 5-star for me. Onyx the Sunstruck. Superior in Crystal, which is fine. That's buff removal. That's fine. When you discard any cards from another hero using a card effect, deal 2 damage to that hero. First of all, his alignments are amazing. His alignments are amazing. He already gets the Crystal Leech, which is really good buff removal. His Dusk Feeder works with Solar, so we can get 7 healing on the Dusk Feeder. He's got cards like Blinding Beetle. He wants to be like the mill and discard guy, right? That's what his hero power wants him to be. But his 3 traits are really good at just being a good deck. Yeah, the abilities are good. I mean, yeah, his alignments are good. His abilities are just, fine. We'll have to see how much discarding actually comes into effect with this. I would give this hero probably a 4.5. Not quite to 5. If we gave Illidan a 5-star, this guy is good for his alignments. His ability is eh. I actually tried. I looked into it to see what kind of stuff I could get. We're actually losing quite a bit of our milling cards. A lot of our discarding stuff from the hand. But yeah, I think Onyx gets he gets a 4-star rating for his 3 alignments. His 3 alignments are amazingly powerful. They're super good. They're easy to build a deck around, just a solid deck in general. And being able to build a solid deck with 3 alignments that aren't all for the same order is a huge thing in its own thing. His hero power is kind of the meh. It's a 0.5 rather than a 1, right? You don't build the deck for his hero power. You build the deck you get an added bonus for the hero power maybe. But Onyx the Sunstruck, he's a guy that like I'm very, very excited to see if I can build a hero with. He's a someone who I really want to try and make work just to see if I can. And I think in the end of the day, the way to do that is just to build a solid deck with his 3 alignments. To not focus on his hero ability. That's more meme than anything. But just build something that's really functional with his hero ability. Or hero alignments. And yeah, it really is. It really is. There's a lot of good solar cards that run off of Lunar and a lot of good Lunar cards that run off of solar. And then Crystal's just, it's got card draw, it's got buff removal, it's got healing, it's got damage, it's got everything. It's from Mountain, so Mountain's going to have a lot of good stuff. So yeah, Onyx the Sunstruck, I'd say 4.5. Not quite up there. Yeah, I mean, it's got some. It's got some. I'm not saying it has none. Where you could try and build a meme deck, or you could just build a really solid deck. Like, there's a lot of good choices with Onyx. But, I'd say 4.5. I'd say 4.5. Then again, I said 2-star about Magrock. So, it's really hard to gauge these mythic heroes until we actually get our hands on the cards. But, I'm sticking with 4.5 right now. Time Jumper Rylox is a 5. We all know that. We all seen it coming. Not your first choice. Yeah, I mean, for first choice for a mythic, in all honesty, Time Jumper Rylox is my first choice for a mythic. This card looks so much fun. This card is going to be that annoying little son of a punk that just doesn't let you do anything. It's going to be returning your buffs. It's going to be dealing damage while removing your buffs at the same time. Now that we finally have Hammer down, he has buff removal in him. It's so good. It's so good. Wrong is a 6. He might be. I mean, this card, he's going to kill you, or it's going to kill your opponent before your opponent can even do anything, because he's going to be bouncing stuff back. He's going to be spinning stuff forward, backward, left, right, removing, dealing damage to you all the time. And you're just going to be like, what did I do anything? I don't even know. And Time has some of the best card draw in any alignment that I've seen. Like, it's so good. Time Superior is nuts. Yeah, it's really good. Filthy Phil, hey man, what's up? But yeah, it's just like, he's so good. He can do so much. He can do so much. Mind you, it's lightning, so you can run the Storm Surge and bring back combos with him. You can do that. You can do that if you really want to. Saw in games so you're not afraid to go back on the internet anymore. That's amazing. That's amazing, Phil. But yeah, Time Jumper Rylox, 5-star card. And I think we've discussed in depth, before we even got to this card, of why this card is going to be good. This card is going to be insane for everything he has access to, and his ability just makes him even better. His ability just makes him even better. Now on to the combos. The Dreadful Hour. When you use an ability, if your last discarded card is Dread, deal damage to your target. Otherwise, if your last discarded card is Astral, gain 2 additional actions. I cannot explain to you how this is a 5-star card. This card. First of all, that art, yes. But this card, with Astral gaining their new Chimchu to make the top card of their discard pile each order, means that it is both Dread and Astral. Means when you use an ability, the Dreadful Hour deals 4 damage and gives you 2 actions. That's pretty easy to manipulate the top card of your discard pile with Asavak. Yeah, that's bonkers. The Dreadful Hour is going to be a nuts card, and especially the damage can be increased. If it's Dread, you're going to be using abilities up the yin-yang with Abyss Tentacles and everything like that. The Dreadful Hour is just going to be so good. It's going to be so good. To get additional actions in Dread? That's nuts. To deal damage off abilities in Astral is okay, but the Dreadful Hour is going to be seen so much. Now, when comparing it to its predecessor, I should probably bring the mythic combos up. The ones that we had before. Are they being retired? Is that what it is? Oh no, they were just... Its predecessor, Blood Moon. Its predecessor, Blood Moon. I think it got nerfed to be 7 and 5, so the max was 12 damage instead of 13. Was like an OTK shot, right? That was what you were hoping to draw. It helped you win games. The Dreadful Hour just... it steamrolls you into it. It doesn't win you the game. It gets you into a position super easy to win a game. Like, getting 2 additional actions after using ability. And then, when you Dust Talon Assassin to use another ability, you do 4 more damage and then get 2 more actions. So you essentially get 3 more actions. So then you have 4 actions. And then 4 actions, you can just do whatever you want. You can just do whatever you feel like you need to do. I don't understand. I don't understand. There's also a Dread card. It's a buff that allows you to use multiple abilities in a turn. That is staying around. Playing that, just like ability, just run it on items. And have the Dreadful Hour just get you a bunch of actions. And then you have one turn that has like 6 or 7 actions. And then you just unload your hand and you could potentially just, what is it, Sunstrider for like 17 again like we did before. This is going to be bonkers. The Dreadful Hour is going to be nuts. That once it comes out, people are going to be terrified of this card for good reason. Dread and Astral have already been a really strong synergistic combo before. Asavak, I had a lot of fun with Asavak. But the Dreadful Hour is just going to make it so much better. So much better. And all you really got to do is Final Rust Battle Set. All you got to do is run Dread and splash a little bit of Astral. Just splash some Gravity in there for the card draw. There you go. Dreadful Hour. Boom. Splash the Astral in there just for the one card that makes your top card all of them. And then you're good. You're good to go. That's what you have. You're done. 5 stars. Astral Communion. First of all, should say defend. Right here. Says defend. This is a defend card. Do not be discouraged because this card should say defend. Choose a category. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. You may play any of the action cards revealed to the chosen category. Without stat restrictions, draw the remaining revealed action cards. That's Tuck 2 on crack, right? Like, reveal the top 4 cards. You call attack, and they're all 4 attack. If you set your deck up right with Astral, pretty easy to do. You just play all 4 attack. Yeah. Why not? This is a 5-star. This is a 5-star card. This is a card where you lay it, and you potentially win the game. Because if you have 4 different attacks that are all, different, you can lay them all with an average of 4. That's 16 damage with 1 Astral Communion. That's 16 damage. And then with Mountain and Mountain and Astral, you probably have a pretty good buff board, maybe. I don't know. Or you've at least been doing some damage before then with other attack cards to have them where the average of 16 just kills them. Just straight up kills them. Or you're playing Fire and you have the 6 and 5 damage cards, and you have Chimchu Militant just for 5 damage. Like, it just... There's no reason you shouldn't win that game. You blow them out. Astral Communion is a game ender. It's so good. I wouldn't say OTK, but it is game ending. I don't know what the OTK... Like, OTK means 35 plus damage in 1 turn. And I don't know any attack cards that you would do with that would deal 35 plus damage. But yeah, Astral Communion, 5-star. This card is amazing. It's so good. Might help a lot against a lot of the AI decks. Probably. Midnight Bloom. Restart one of your buffs. Remove 1 buff from another hero. Gain 2 additional actions. Yeah. I'd say... It's not quite a 5. It's not quite a 5. I want to say it's a 4-star combo. Yeah, I mean, if you have 20, then yeah, it's an OTK shot. Midnight Bloom, I would say, is a 4-star combo. The reason it's a 4-star combo is because to get the max benefit out of it, you literally have to have a combo buff in play to restart it, right? It's not a card where you can lay at any time and win the game. It's not a card where you feel like you have the upper hand at all times, and whenever you lay it, that's when it's good. You have to set up the right time to lay it, which drops it down a little bit as it's conditional. Yes, it restarts combos. That's exactly the good point. But you need a combo buff to restart it, right? You need the combo buff to do its thing. Then you lay Midnight Bloom to restart that combo buff. It's not a card where it wins on its own. It's a card that supports another card. It gets you 2 additional actions, which right away is amazing. That's awesome. Fantastic. It can restart Vine Lash. It can restart whatever you want to do, which is why it's only a 4-star. It's a supporting combo. It does only remove 1 other buff from the hero. There's other combos that remove multiple and stuff like that. Action cards remove multiple. But restarting a combo buff is huge. That's huge. But you do need a combo buff for you to do this. Would you put it in Farapang? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I put it in Farapang. You kidding me? There's so many good things in Farapang I would love to restart. So many good things in Farapang I would love to restart. Yeah, Midnight Bloom, it is also another card for buff removal in Farapang that doesn't have a whole lot. And getting 2 additional actions feels good. Feels good. Yeah, Midnight Bloom, I would say it's a 4-star combo. It's not Night Hunt where it's 10 damage, it's a game ender. It's a card that could just read remove 1 buff, gain 2 additional actions. But to get the added benefit, you need to have another combo buff in play. And because you need to have a combo weapon play and you needed to have done its full thing to then get a benefit to restart it, the opportunities to lay it are a lot more restricted. And because of that, it's not, oh, hey, I can just lay this next turn. I can do this whenever I want type of thing. Did I just... I think I did. I closed my Twitch. Oops. That, yeah, it's a 4-star card. It's a 4-star card. I like it a lot. I think it's going to be used. I don't think it's going to be the card that wins you the game. It's just a card that helps another card win the game. Which is fine. Which is fine. It's in a perfect spot to do that. Cosmic Convection. Draw cards face up. If any of those cards are Astral, gain 1 additional action. If any of those cards are Storm, heal for 1. This is bad. This is really bad. This is like a 1.5 star combo. It's replacing Hurricane, which in my opinion was the worst of the hybrid combos to begin with. This one is so bad. It's so right when you play it, you draw 2 cards face up, and then if you're hoping essentially they're Astral, so you get 2 additional actions. You drew 2 cards, you got 2 additional actions. That's all it did. It didn't deal damage. It did nothing. Then next turn, it does nothing. Then 2 turns, it draws you 1 card, and that's it. And if it's Storm, it heals you for 1. 1. Like, no. No to the no power. No to the nth of the no. Why? It almost feels really bad to even run Storm in Astral. Like, because you want the additional actions. You don't want to heal for 1. Like, yes, the healing can be increased. There's a lot of things that Storm has. It's like, oh, you increase the healing and damage from your combos by such and such. So it's like, cool, if I draw a Storm card, I heal. Guess what? If I lay this and I'm drawing cards, I want to kind of be on the aggressive. I want to deal damage. I don't want to heal. It's very underwhelming. It's very underwhelming. The only thing that gives it a 0.5 is its card draw. And even then, we saw a nature combo that was, what, 1/1/2? That drew you cards? No, it was 1/1/2, but essentially the first corner was 2. It drew you cards. That's all it did. And healed you. It drew you cards and healed you. And that wasn't amazing for nature. This one for Storm and Astral. No. This is just bad. People are going to open this up going, I wish this was any one of the other hybrid combos. Cosmic Convection is not a card I am happy to see. It's not the card that Storm and Astral deserve to replace Hurricane. I would still run Hurricane over Cosmic Convection. This card is just so unimpactful on the game. The April Fool's version, where you draw your opponent's deck, yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, Cosmic, it's just like, why? Why did Storm get 1 healing? Like, for real. It just feels so bad. Feels so bad. Actually, no, I'm giving it a 1. I'm giving it a 1. It does get a 0.5 for card draw, but that goes off the 0.5 for making healing so bad for Storm. And you really want to just run this in an Astral deck, but you need Storm to play it. That's where you get this. That's where you get this. It's a 0.5 combo that gets a 0.5 for card draw, so it's a 1-star combo. That's what this is. That's what this is. Like, I have to look and see what ways we can improve that, because there are so many that I could just start spouting out everything, and anything will be better than that. Calibration Stance. 6/5/4. If your last discarded card is an attack card, deal rotation damage to your target. If your last discarded card is a defend card, heal yourself. Otherwise, draw 1 card. This is just a solid combo. This is like a 4. I'd say this is a 4-star combo. I do love the art. I do love the art. It's very Doctor Strange meets Iron Man in a sense. It's even like Xavier in Cerebro, right? It's a platform that leads to a console that goes all super high tech. But I mean, you at least get to control what you're doing. So if you are a major aggro attack deck, your attacks are going to be on top. So it's going to be 6, 5, and 4. This is going to be 15 damage over 3 turns. If you defend, yeah, it's healing. You could defend and then get another additional healing next turn, just to kind of spike healing if you're in a really low spot. I don't think you'll ever be in a spot where you need to draw. It's just, I mean, there's so many uses. And the way I'm seeing this in Halvar is, once again, Halvar increases your explosive combos by 3 if you have more gravity under it, right? And because he stores gravity under it, gravity is probably your, I don't know, defend, card draw, whatever you want to do. Just have an attack explosive on top, then the gravity, all you like heal, draw with gravity, put those gravities under Halvar, and you'll still have an attack on top. This is just, it's a lot better. It's really good. It's a really good card. I give it a 4-star. It's not something that just like wins the game. It's not something that looks oppressive, where you're like, wow, I can already see ways where this is going to bust the game open, like wide open. You're going to kill him when you lay this card. It's not anything like that. It's just a card where like you lay it and you're like, yeah, I feel really good for laying the combo. It's going to put me ahead. It's kind of like the double explosive, the 5/4/3/2, the turret one. The Calibration Stance is like, yeah, it's going to be 6/5/4 damage. Not bad. Late in the game with Halvar, it's 9/8/7. Really good. Yeah, Calibration Stance, I think it's good. It gets a 4. I think it's a really good combo. It's a lot better than the last one. It's a lot better than the last one. Now comes the bane of my existence, because it fits Magrock so well, to the extent of, why did they make this for Magrock? Like, why? Why did they do it? Sulfuric Demise. At the start of your turn, deal 2 damage to your target. Reduce damage received from combo attacks by 4. Why? Why? First of all, this is probably, it's a 4.5 star combo. It's not a 5-star. It's not a game ender. It's a 4.5 because it's a really good card. It's 2 damage at the beginning of your turn without restrictions. It's a Colossi Skybeam. It's, without health restrictions. Yeah, Sulfuric Demise, because it fits so well with Magrock and what Magrock does, it is so oppressive. Magrock does not need this. And like I said, the only way to kill Magrock, I don't know how far I got with my mic dying. The only way to kill Magrock was to really hit them heavy with combo attacks. And now this blocks combo attack damage. This card needs a nerf if it's going to be in the Magrock era. If it's going to be with Magrock, if it's going to be a consistent combo buff, it's got to have the condition where expire this next time you get hit by a combo attack and prevent the next 5 damage. I think it needs a conditional expire with the combo attack to have another way of removing it. But like, if you put Sulfuric Demise and then you put Obfuscation, there's just nothing you can do to Magrock. There's nothing you can do. The game is over unless you're running that nature card. Like, it's just, there's no reason not to run it. There's no reason. It's so good. It fits Magrock too well. I don't think Magrock could get a nerf. I do think Tentacles needs a nerf. And with Tentacle needs a nerf, then Magrock could come down to the power where Sulfuric Demise doesn't feel bad. But, like, let's face it. Tentacles is what needs the nerf. Magrock just kind of needs to be pulled back a little bit. Like, that's it. But yeah, Sulfuric Demise, I think it's a 4.5. It's not a game ender, but it, like, why? Why? I'll just play draft. Final Ross Battle, I'm gonna be mostly a draft player too. I love draft so much. But yeah, Sulfuric Demise, it's like, this card is so oppressive to look at that it doesn't have any way to expire it. You can put it behind Obfuscation and just have this thing sit there, and Magrock will never die. It'll never die. Spirit Barrage. Damage your target. Your target discards 1 card from their hand. So, okay. So, okay. Shibes, please start that. I will sign it 1,000,000 times over. I will make fake Twitch accounts just to sign it many times. Many, many times. Spirit Barrage. So, 2 damage. Discard 1 card from their hand. I mean, it's a 2-star. In my opinion, it's a 2-star card. The damage isn't worth 6 damage for a combo, especially a hybrid combo like this. Discarding 1 card each from your opponent's hand, your opponent just dumps their hand or doesn't do anything. That's what they could do. If this could be played with Onyx, then sure. Discarding cards would be amazing for Onyx. But Spirit Barrage, like, I'll try it. I mean, I'm going to try all of them and see what works. But Spirit Barrage, like, it doesn't immediately incite creativity. It doesn't immediately go, ooh, yeah, that's really good. Where it's like, if Spirit Barrage, what I want to say to, like, fix Spirit Barrage is it needs to be, increased damage up to 3. Up to 3. And then it needs to also discard 1 from the hand and 1 from the top of the deck. Then this card would be really good. If you discarded 1 from the top of the deck too, you can see keeping it at 2 damage. The damage is negligible. It's all for the milling and discarding. But it's not doing near enough impact on the board, over 3 turns especially, to really be strong or worthy of taking up a combo spot, especially in those 2 colors. As I already said, those 2 colors are really good for the undead. It's really good for the undead stuff, so you can play that the new undead buff to keep yourself from dying. In which case, you're playing an undead deck and you're not running Spirit Barrage. You're just not doing it. Choose 1 card to discard from your opponent's hand. Like, yeah, if you get to choose, that'd be bonkers. You would always just be like, okay, this is the healing you need. Okay, bye. Oh, it's buff removal? You don't need that. Cool. But yeah, it's just like, it's not impactful. It's not strong. Especially to take up a hybrid combo slot like this. It's a 2-star. It's a 2-star. I'll still run it. We'll see what we can get from it. But it doesn't seem impactful in damage or in your opponent's hand. If they can choose which one they want to discard. It's just, it doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good. Maybe like you played against Storm, and this is where like the combo goes away and they got to discard a card and their top card is no longer a combo and yada, yada, yada. But like, I don't know. I don't know. Winds of Plague. First of all, this is already a 5-star combo. This combo is a combo you run for the combo. That is a 9, not a 6. Mind you, this does healing and damage, not one or the other. So this is an 18-point swing on a card. An 18-point swing on a card that your opponent can discard 1 attack to reduce this by 4, and they can discard 1 defend to reduce it by 4. So they can still make it a 5 damage, 5 healing. But they have to discard 2 cards. This is so good. This is so good. Winds of Plague is amazing. It's either an 18-point swing or a 10-point swing, and your opponent has to discard 2 specific cards. That's huge. Storm already has the Biting Blizzard, which is a 20-point swing. It's 10 and 10, and they can discard, defend cards up the wazoo. And then you just throw Winds of Plague down, and you're like, wow, that is really oppressive. And just look at the colors that it is. Storm and Dread. Out of all 6 alignments, which 2 are the best at bringing combos back? I'll wait. Time's up. It's Storm and Dread. It's Storm and Dread. They're the best at bringing combos back. You build a Winds of Plague deck. You build a Winds of Plague deck to just consistently keep bringing Winds of Plague back. Keep bringing it back to your hand. Keep laying it. Keep doing all the bonkers things. Keep doing an 18-point swing. I don't even, especially with the the one new element, the lightning one, to just bring this back to your hand, 2 damage to them, then just lay Winds of Plague the next turn. Oh, it's removed. Okay, cool. I bring Winds of Plague back. Oh, I did it again. Cool, cool, cool. Like, Mountain Unaligned. That's a joke, Jovi. That's a joke, and you know it. But yeah, it's like, even if they discard 2 cards, it's still a 10-point swing on the 3rd turn. It's not even like you have to wait 4 corners. It's the 3rd turn. And then you just bring it back, or you put it back in your deck, and you play it again, and you play it again, and you play it again. They're going to either have to discard so many cards, they're not going to have enough tempo to beat you on Winds of Plague, or Winds of Plague is just going to keep killing them for 9 damage and 9 healing, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. Winds of Plague is a bonkers combo. It's so much of a point swing on a 3rd corner. It's nuts. It's nuts. And Chilling Winds was already probably the best hybrid combo buff that we had last set, and now we have Winds of Plague, which is just like in a whole nother league too. The Dread and Storm combos are so strong. They are so strong. Ghost Warp. Damage your target. When any of your cards are discarded by a card effect, deal damage to your target. This is a 4-star combo. This is a 4-star combo. Ghost Warp doesn't go in every deck. It does not go in every single tech deck, every single Dread deck, nothing. This art is amazing. Yes, Filthy Phil. I 100% agree. This deck goes in a discard deck. This deck goes in the one where you play the Giga Blender where you discard 3 cards. This deck goes in the Dread one where you discard cards. It's not meant to be put in like every Dread deck or every tech deck. You build a deck around Ghost Warp, or you build a discard deck and you toss Ghost Warp in there. It's just like, it's good. It helps a future archetype they're trying to flush out, and it's the combo buff that if you really want to make that deck work, you need this buff. This buff helps that archetype, but the archetype in itself should be doing fine just on its own with its action cards. This just comes down to, the deck should win by itself. The combo should just help the deck win more. That's what it should do. It's not the combo wins the game. It's the deck wins, and the combo helps it win more. That's how it is. Fumbling Alchemist with armor. Yeah, I could see that. He lost his soul. Seems pretty good. But yeah, I love this. I think this is a great card. This is a 4-star combo, maybe even a 4.5 if this will be a 4.5 if this card truly helps bring the discard archetype onto the next level. Like, if the discard archetype was doing okay, but this card wins, like this card makes that deck push it over the 50% win rate. If that's what this combo does, if this combo literally makes the discard archetype win more often, then it's a 4.5. Otherwise, to me, it's a 4. It's a 4-star combo that I like. It's really good. Rocky Regeneration. Your other buffs can't be removed. Healing, 2 damage to your target. So it's only for 2 corners. This is a 3-star combo. It's fine. It has, potential for like those OTK turns or major turns that we saw with the tricolor. But like, for 2 turns, it's like, Spectral Web for 2 turns off of a hybrid combo buff. And all it is 3 healing and 2 damage for 2 turns. So like a 10-point swing on 2 turns. Man, it's only 2 turns that they can't be removed. So like, yeah, it's kind of like a subjugator in a sense. You just can't attack. But it's a subjugator that also works for Storm. But I mean, it's fine. Maybe you lay Rocky Regeneration, and then next turn you lay Vine Lash. And then they can't remove Vine Lash at all, and then it helps. It's once again, it's a combo that doesn't win you the game, but helps another card potentially win the game. It's another card that helps another card win the game. It's kind of the same thing that Midnight Bloom did, but Midnight Bloom at least did something proactive to help you gain more momentum. It removed something of theirs and gave you 2 additional actions to still do something. This one says, okay, you can't touch my board, and then like, you take 2 damage and I heal for 3. That's nowhere near as impactful as also saying, I'm going to remove one of your buffs that you're hoping goes off, and then I still get 2 additional actions afterwards. Nowhere near as impactful as that. This just, the biggest thing on this that says is for the next 2 turns, my board can't be touched. But in a case, you could still Mari Bard and do something. Like, there's still ways around it. So that's why it gets a 3-star to me. It's a good combo, but it's a combo that's only going to be used in like OTK synergies or ridiculously meme style stuff, or to be used with restoring the echoes, as we discussed before, to bring it back so that the next 2 turns you keep bringing those stuff back and they can't remove anything. Like that's where Rocky Regeneration really finds its home. It's never going to find its home like it did with Moss Armor. Moss Armor did its own thing. It was really cool in its OTK style, but like even Moss Armor on its own was just like, And Moss Armor was good in Astral. It wasn't even good in Mountain or Nature. So like, it's a 3-star combo. It'll find fun, but outside of fun, I don't know if it's going to be competitive. I don't know if it's worthy of taking up a combo slot. Strike Slip, 7 damage. While this card is on top of your discard pile, reduce the cost of your combos by 2. I thoroughly like this card. I think this card deserves a 4-star rating for me. 7 damage off of 2 cost combos, solid. We're getting that on Sunstrike. We're getting it on the combo Defend now in Astral that has a 2. It's just 7 damage off of 2. Does it fit with the Mythic combos? Does this one Strike Slip? Yeah. Strike Slip goes with the Ancient. And the reason I actually talked a lot of people up about this card is what makes it a really good point is Strike Slip, mind you, this, like I said before, the whole, you have to make sure the top card of your discard pile is this card. It's some of the most difficult things to do, right? It's some of the most difficult thing to do in the game is to make sure the top card of your discard pile, with a combo especially, makes it to the next round where your opponent doesn't try and do anything. They don't try and mill you. They don't try and remove a combo. They don't make you discard a card. They don't do anything to ruin the top card of your discard pile. With Strike Slip, this is considered a water card, which means it actually goes under the Ancient after being played. And then when you're ready to have a combo with it, you discard. Sorry. It's getting close to nap time. You discard the 4 cards under the Ancient to remove a buff. And you get to discard them in whatever order you see fit. Which means you can discard them so that Strike Slip goes on the top. So that your opponent, like, you removed a buff, you have it all set up for when you have that combo in your hand, you drew it later, you put Strike Slip on. Now, next turn, your combo costs 2. It's a lot easier to set up with the Ancient, and without that, it's still 7 damage. 7 damage is perfectly fine. I think Avalanche got moved down to 8 damage, and that was still run. Avalanche, of course, was busted because it ruined your opponent's hand entirely. But Strike Slip, 7 damage. I'll play that. Strike Slip's really good. It's not a game ender. It can be if you're really low and you just need 7 damage. Find a Ross battle. Have a good night, man. But, I mean, with it being water and with it being with the Ancient, it has a lot more use than just how it is. It's made for the Ancient. It's not made for, like, splashing it in. Because the Ancient can really utilize it a bunch. So I think it's a 4-star combo. We're getting there. We're getting there. Molteration. Increase damage done to other heroes by 1 and reduce damage received from attacks by 1. When any hero plays a combo, you may rotate one of your buffs to its final corner. I think this is good. I think this is a 4-star combo. It's a combo you might even want to build the deck around. Even if not, I mean, there's still a lot of fun things with tech and manipulation of your own buffs, your own, Clocksmaster Crud was able to rotate your combo buffs forward. This one can also rotate your combo buffs to its final corner. Especially if it's like, okay, I have a combo out. You can go ahead and lane combo, but my combo will go to its first corner and do its thing. And then your combo will go. Being also like a mini Steadfast Beacon in there as well is good. Steadfast Beacon we found to be one of the better buffs that Mountain has right now. That mixed in with Multiration, and then that whole like, oh, you lay a combo, cool, I get to spin my stuff forward and just blow you up, real fun. Multiration is just a really solid combo. It's a 4-star combo in my opinion. It's not one that wins you the game. It's one that when you play it, it has some immediate impact. And of course, it's for tech that is a consistent combo buff. So with tech, you can really utilize the whole like, if you have a combo buff out in play, do such and such, that kind of thing. So yeah, Multiration, it's a solid card. Solid card. I think there's going to be a lot of fun uses with it. I'm not sure if people are going to find like OTK synergies, but it's just going to be one of those cards where you put it out and your opponent's like, great, are you serious? Really? And it goes in with True Stone. And with True Stone, with it being a mechanical buff, essentially, it's a consistent buff out there. It really goes into his whole, your fire cards get increased by 2 or something like that, your attack cards, I don't know what it is. But it's like you have to have 3 mechanicals to do something. And sure, I'll do it. Multiration's really solid. I like it. Tropical Clash. 9 damage. If the recipient is holding more cards than you, you may move 1 combo from your discard pile to your hand. Yes, please. This card is a 5-star card. First of all, 9 damage on 2 is amazingly good. Strike Slip was only 7. Whoop-de-doo. But if the recipient is holding more cards than you, first of all, when you play a combo, you're already spending 2 to pay for it. So it's 3 cards out of your hand, which your opponent is probably keeping about the same card hand size as you. And then you move 3 out, and you have less. 9 damage. Then you get to move a combo from your discard pile to your hand. Not shuffle it back into your deck. It gets put into your hand, which means for Storm and Nature, you can probably play that really easily. Yeah, it has burn because Tropical Clash, needs burn. It gets burn. I'm so sorry, guys. It's like I got up super early. Yeah, Tropical Clash. There's so many good things about it. There's so many good things that it does for Storm and for Nature, which in my opinion, like I don't even see what Nature has to do with this. Nature's not really a big heavy hitting thing. It's not 9 damage. The Storm is obviously for the combos back. Like I don't know what Nature is. Nature's the whole like, oh, your opponent's hand size. Like that's all I can see for Nature is that it has to do with your opponent's hand size, and that's the route that Nature's been taking right now with the Mossfoot Rider and all that stuff like that. That Tropical Clash, like I just really like. This card is amazing. Its Living Whirlpool was very defensive. Tropical Clash is very offensive. It's a big swing from its predecessor, and I think Tropical Clash moves Nature and Storm into the right direction of where they want to go together. So I like the Tropical Clash. I think it's a great card. Be on the lookout for it. I give it 5 stars. Terraform. Heal yourself and damage your target equal to the number of buffs you have in play. If the recipient has more buffs than you, remove a number of buffs equal to that many they have. Terraform it's a 5-star card. This is amazing. It's for Nature and Tech. It's like a huge board swing buff removal. And if not, if you have the bigger board, it's a huge life point swing. You heal yourself and deal damage equal to the number of buffs you have in play. But if they have more, you still do the damage and healing, but then you remove their buffs. So if you have an empty board and they go wide, you just, okay, I'll terraform, all your buffs are gone. Or if you have a heavy board, this is just a really heavy hitting buff. It fits both ends of the spectrum for aggro and control. And because it does both things at once in one card, it's very versatile. It becomes very dominant and very powerful. Terraform is a 5-star combo for the hybrid, and it fits really well into Tusk Rage, because Tusk Rage, before we had regrowth, not regrowth, oh, what did we have for Tusk Rage? What was Phil? I'll see you later, man. Thanks for stopping in. Hope to see you more often too. What did Tusk Rage have? Where are you? Life Imbue. And Tusk Rage had no combo buffs. It had like one. It had one combo buff to put into play. So Life Imbue was almost a dead card for Tusk Rage. Terraform is an amazing leap in the right direction for Tusk Rage. And now that we actually have proper buff removal, we're going to start running a lot of fun stuff with them. And Terraform, I think, is going to be really cool. It's going to be utilized a lot to make sure that we, like, our board is big, his board is maintained, damage and healing everywhere. Like, Terraform does everything all at once. It's an amazing combo that I love, and this deserves 5 stars. This is a great combo. Last one, guys. We did it. My mic is still going. Finally, after like 4 restarts, we did it. Short Circuit. Damage to your target. Move up to 2 valid Storm or Tech action buffs from your deck into play. This is a 5-star card. This is absolutely 100% a 5-star card. I already told you how we can get 4 actions in 1 turn just off of Short Circuit and those Time Worms. Or not Time Worms, the, whatever you want to call it, the Tunnelers. This card has potential to be like a game ender or an OTK or something of those lines, because it puts 2 specific buffs into play, which means you build the deck around this to then find the 2 buffs that you put into the deck to put into play, right? You can even use those cards as combo payment to make sure they're in the deck so that when Short Circuit goes off, as long as you didn't draw 1, you get to put them into play next turn. Like, Short Circuit it's so good. It's built to be that OTK. It's built to be that swing turn. It's built to be everything you wanted it to be. What's even amazing is you can use it for control. You can bring 2 Thunder Slugs into play if you wanted to. You could bring in just major buff removal. It's so good. It is so good. Short Circuit, the 4 damage is almost negligible. 4 damage is like, oh, cool, 4 damage. But the 2 buffs that you get to bring into play with it are what make that bonkers. Because you get to look for them. It's 2 specific ones, which means you put them in there for a reason. Right? You put them in there for a reason because those are the ones you always search for with Short Circuit. If not, and you have just a variety of them you pick out, you can search for 2 specific ones that'll make it or break it in the situation that you laid Short Circuit in. It's so good. It's so good. This is a 5-star combo. This card is going to see so much play, and Time Jumper Rylox already is a 5-star hero. With Short Circuit, he's just going to get even better. He's going to get even better. I love this card. I love this card so much, and I cannot wait to get my hands on all of Uprising. On all of Uprising.